You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is February 10th, 2025 meeting of the Long Beach Town Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Welcome everyone to the February Long Beach Town Council meeting. Could we please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. May, could you please do a roll call?
Please say you're present. President Schmidt.
Present.
Vice President Remges.
Present.
Kendra Bartlett.
Present.
Holly Lane.
Present.
Cindy Lee. I believe you are on Zoom. Thank you. Attorney Chief Liston.
Present.
Attorney Wilkie.
Present.
Clerk Collins, I am here, and that concludes roll.
Thank you. My only opening remarks is I'm going to add one agenda item to new business, and that would be AIM information. And we do have the tree ordinance to go over to tonight, but Ellen is going to do that during her tree ordinance report. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the council meeting of January 13th, 2025?
I would make that motion to approve the minutes.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sue.
Everything has to be roll call, because you're one member.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We'll have, you want to do a roll call vote?
Sure.
You'll have to unmute her.
Joe Schmidt.
She has to be able to.
She has
You
to.
got to unmute yourself, Cindy.
Is she on?
She's getting there. We have to be able to hear you for you to vote. That's why you have to unmute.
Can't hear you, so,
There she is. Now we can.
oh,
Okay,
there you are. Okay,
okay, I'm sorry, I'm working.
okay.
Okay, so President Schmidt.
Aye.
Anita Remges.
Yes.
Kendra Bartlett.
Aye.
Holly Lane.
Aye.
Cindy Lee.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes approved. Do we have any public comments? First on Zoom? Do you have any public comments? Please raise your hand. Not seeing any. Do we have any public comments in the audience? Please come up and give us your name and address.
Good evening. I'm John Wojak. I'm the attorney for Lakeshore Stewart LLC, and we're the one item of unfinished business. And with me is Eric Callahan.
Can you turn your microphone on, John?
Push the button.
Push the button.
There you go.
Thank you.
Go ahead and start over.
I
I'm John Wojak. I'm the attorney for Lakeshore Stewart, which is LLC, which is the item of unfinished business. About 12 days ago, we had the opportunity to meet with Councilwoman Bartlett and Joyce Schmidt, the president of the council, to discuss some of the issues with the project. Probably to be most productive, Mr. Willoughby is going to be communicating with me with some of the questions that he had as a result of that meeting. So we'll cooperate with him. We'd like to really see the project move forward, but it's probably most productive that we talk after we see the issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments in the audience? Seeing none, we will move to committee reports. Police Department Commission, Chief Switzerland.
Good evening. The Long Beach Police Department responded to 350 calls for service in the month of January when compared to 176 in the previous year, for an increase of 174 calls. Large majority of those were officer-initiated traffic enforcement. During the month of January, there were 14 incident reports. A total of 9 individuals were arrested, 4 misdemeanor arrests for operating a motor vehicle with a suspended driver's license, 3 misdemeanor arrests for operating a motor vehicle without ever receiving a license, and 2 warrant arrests. Our officers also attended approximately 16 to 20 hours of in-service training. This is our state mandated training that we're required to attend annually. We have to put in a minimum of 24 hours. Typically, we range anywhere from 40 or more per year, but the majority of our training we try to get in the winter and spring. Also, I'd like to commend Sergeant Mitchell Seitz. On January 1st, he received a call off of Oriole Trail in reference to a missing autistic male. Immediately, it was determined that the individual walked away from a home earlier in the day. Sergeant Seitz went ahead and entered them into the NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center for Law Enforcement. And upon doing so, the Michigan City Police Department, having been alerted to this, located the individual walking on US 20 heading towards South Bend near I-94, and was able to return the individual home safely. So I want to commend him for his quick actions in getting the individual entered into the computer system so quickly. There was not a police commission meeting for January. We will be meeting in the month of March.
Can I make a quick comment about the police report?
So I just want to, and I mentioned this to Chief Swistek earlier today, so I've gone down a rabbit hole the last couple of evenings of watching police videos. You sit in bed and you go on Facebook and these police videos pop up. But what I told him, and I told Mitchell Seitz earlier, was it's amazing what they face not knowing, going up to a car. They, you know, it's the car windows are closed, the car windows are tinted, and what people do and say to them over silly, ridiculous things. I said I just have watched them, and you just don't know what's happening. And then when I was looking through the incident report where it's a headlight is out, or you're speeding, or something is happening and you're pulling someone over not knowing, and then they're getting people who don't have licenses, who are intoxicated, who, you know, all kinds of things just by paying attention, which yes is their job. But I just wanted to say thank you, because it's a dangerous job and you never know what's coming. So thank you to all of your officers.
Thank you, Anita. Town Administrator, Chief Swistek.
Just to recap a couple items from last month. The council was alerted to the newly installed septic system for the public safety building had a frozen pipe during the extremely cold weather that we experienced. Upon investigation, it was determined that the line between the solid holding tank and the effluent water holding tank was installed about 18 inches below grade. So therefore it froze during the extremely cold weather. The contractor came back out after consulting with the engineering firm that did the design for our septic system, has since reinstalled the line, and the system is back in operation. All of this was done at no cost to the town, and we have not experienced any issues since then. We also conducted septic pumping of the town hall septic, the community center septic system, and the holding tank outside of the new public safety building. There's a 560-gallon holding tank that holds the runoff water from the garages for both the police and fire department. That water that runs off of our cars or from any car washing cannot go into the septic system. Therefore, the holding tank holds all of that runoff water, and that tank was also pumped last week. Our website update, as the council is aware, we've been working with our current website host, Civic Plus. We have asked to move to the newly updated software, the new platform. However, we've been informed that the launch of the new platform was not successful. Therefore, they are now partnering with Central Starter, and we have signed the town up for a March 5th webinar to learn more about the transition to Central Starter. So we'll provide more information after that webinar. Myself, Clerk Collins, and our administrative assistant Kayla will be attending that webinar. Tree work has started last week with Maple City. They're working on about 20 trees across the town. I've been in communication with them and Street Superintendent Tom Dolph. The work is going well. Other than that, we hope to have that finished in a couple of weeks. Obviously, with the snow that is pending this week, we're probably going to be behind just a couple of days, so hopefully we'll make that up in the following weeks. In preparation for this week's snow, I spoke to the street superintendent today. He is ready. All snowplow trucks are up and running, and we have plenty of salt in stock. And then lastly, some of the council members have already taken the opportunity, but if the others would like, in my left-hand corner here, there's some carpet samples that were brought in last week. If you want to take a look at those, the plan is to have this meeting room recarpeted. The carpet that's in here is 24 years old, so we want to get that done in the next couple of weeks. So if anybody would like to weigh in on any of the colors back there, please do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Volunteer Fire Department, Dave Albers.
Good evening, everyone. How are you tonight?
Good, thank you.
This is a report for the 1 month of January. Fire calls, this year we stand at 5, and that's in comparison to 4 the previous year. 2 of the calls were in Long Beach and 3 were in Duneland. And you may say, why Duneland? It's because a number of years ago, we had an agreement with Michiana Shores where it's on possible structured fires, confirmed structured fires. Both Michiana and Long Beach are toned out simultaneously. So there's no delay in getting equipment and people in. It just so happened we had 3 calls, all alarm calls, but they were in Duneland, and so to meet the protocol, they toned our department out. So you may say, why 3 in Duneland? That's the reason why. Of the calls, 2 were hazardous conditions. They could have been a gas leak, carbon monoxide, etc. And then we had the 3 false alarms in Duneland. Fire call turnout per call stands at approximately 8. It stands at 8, not approximately. On the medical side, we are at 9 calls for the month of January in comparison to 5 of the previous year. All 9 calls were in Long Beach. 3 of the calls were for injury, and then we had 6 calls for sick persons. And if you look at it as a percent, that's 80% higher than what we were last year. But if that trend continues, we could have another record year. In average turnout of the members for medical stands at 5. Our average response time for fire and medical is 4.34 and 4.13 minutes. I have a feeling the hours were not entered in. For the month of January, we had 53 hours, but I know there's more than that, so hopefully the records will be updated for the next month's report. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Oh, March 1st, the training, is that open for everybody or just CPR training? Or no, otherwise no?
I'm not, I know they're planning for it, and I heard there was a good response, but
Okay.
I don't know if we're reaching out to the community at this point.
Thank
It may just be for employees, council members, but I have a feeling they may be reaching out to those in the community too, but I should have gotten an update on that, sorry.
Okay.
They even went out on Facebook and on some other social media sites. So Kayla was out sick today. When she gets back in, I'll have a better idea how many people had registered on the site. So,
Well, I know we've been very fortunate with the Healthcare Foundation in LaPorte. They're very aggressive in making LaPorte County a heart-healthy county. And basically, when it comes to AED equipment, dummies, they have been very, very nice to our department, and I think they appreciate the efforts that are being made to reach out to the community. So I'm proud of that fact. So
Thank you.
thank you.
on Dave's comments about the Healthcare Foundation, he's correct. I want to personally thank them. They've been very responsive to us and Bolt for the Heart. Corporal Farthing last week used his AED on a call, had to put the pads on, although unsuccessful because the individual had unfortunately passed, but still the AED was there. We used the pads, and the pads are being replaced by either Bolt for the Heart or the Healthcare Foundation at no cost to the town. So this year we received 3 brand new batteries, and I think 4 sets of pads that we've already gone through. And it normally, just for that alone, would probably cost the town $1,000. And both of those individual agencies have, assisted us in providing that at no cost to us.
As a county, I think we're blessed to have that organization fulfilling the need in the community. So I know our department is greatly appreciative of it. So thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Public Works, Kendra?
Mark already touched on the frozen lines at the water tank. So other than that, we have a new member, Beth White, that I think we'll appoint officially later in the meeting, but she'll be joining Public Works. And just a reminder, Sender and Associates is working on a water rate study to advise us on some increase in rates that we're gonna need. They're looking into that, so we're gonna wait for their report on that. And that's really it.
Okay, thank you. Park Board, Kendra?
Paul, do you want to do it? I can do it, but you're here. Do you want to talk? You want me to? Okay. So Park Board met, they did hire an activities coordinator, Madeline Dowdy, so she's officially hired, and Sarah has agreed to stay on as a consultant / contractor for the first year to help get Madeline up to speed with that enormous task. So that's exciting. We'll be able to proceed with summer camp and all the fun things that Sarah has always done. So that's good. Beach Garden Club, thanks again to Janice and everyone on that club. They are working on some irrigation over there in the Memorial Garden, hopefully in the spring. Stop 21, Bruce Woodruff, they're gonna donate a water fountain. If you guys walk by Stop 21, you'll see a big blue pipe sticking out, and that's a water fountain that was supposed to go in a while ago, and it just fell off the radar. So Bruce, they're donating that, Woodruff is, so that should be coming. Paul's been working really hard in Moon Valley and trying to figure out what we can do there to clean up trails and make that a little bit more usable space for the town. So he's doing a lot to map out the trails with apps and all sorts of tech stuff. Thanks, Paul, for all your work on that. That'll be awesome. Landscaping at Stop 29, dune grass has been planted. They're gonna put up a split rail fence on the property just to delineate that over there. And still working on the tennis court overhauls, the options there. Have a couple of different options they're looking at. Prices aren't back yet on any of those, but there's a couple different options to rebuild the courts as they sit today, or kind of refigure them with adding some more pickleball courts, of course, but then also maybe keeping one tennis court striped only for tennis in one option, and then maybe not in another. So they're working on that. And those are the highlights.
Thank you. Community Center, Anita?
The community center met on February 3rd. I'm going to use a cheat sheet, which was what Chief wrote about different things that have been going on in the month of January and February, which are apparently his department's house cleaning, spring cleaning duties. So the handicap accessible bathroom is really moving ahead. That's pretty exciting, finally. A new water fountain with a bottle filler has been ordered and is coming. Septic has been done. Curtains were removed that were in shambles on the gym stage. It was all cleaned up, decluttered. Kitchen We have an estimate to paint room 12, which is also exciting, and hopefully moving forward with carpeting or some kind of vinyl flooring as well, all of which is in the budget. And then room 3 is all cleaned out. It was used by the building commission for a number of years, so we're looking, so that room is available to rent. Shredding company came. Many boxes are gone, and many more boxes are in the basement and have all been dated. So January 1st of 2025, 2026, you can wake up Chief Can and he can go in that basement and get rid of 2016.
Yeah.
So it's just darn exciting, this organization. And look, the American flag was replaced. I didn't even know that. And we're also looking for photos. The community center has been working on redoing, along with help from Ellen and Janice, I believe. They've redone the Beach Garden Club.
There's one woman that's kept a lot, and she's not there that much, but they're working to get stuff. She kept a lot of that. She was the historian.
No, we know her. We've looked through all of her stuff. Debbie Steele.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've looked through all of it in the old Beechers. So I think it's going to be in the newsletter, but we're looking for really a photo of the windows. They want to redo the windows, so we're hoping we can find that. And then there is
Above the 3 doors.
above the 3 doors
At
by
the
the entrance.
Yeah, that part of the building was added later, and we're looking for anyone who might have a photo of those 3 doors when there were still windows above it before they covered the windows.
It'd be like the 70s.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And then there hopefully will be returning to the community center or a turn-up dance fitness class. So that's in the works. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Budget and Finance, Meg?
Budget and Finance met on February 5th, and the board went through fund projections and capital plans. Both of those have since been distributed to council. They will go out to department heads by tomorrow. And the revenues in 2024, I'll kind of do a little recap of the year. They came in higher than we expected. The community center roof reimbursement is included in the revenues. So when you look at the net cash flow, it's being increased because we haven't fully paid for that entire project yet. So when you remove the insurance reimbursement, the net cash flow for the year is close to $130,000 positive, which is very good. Much of this is attributed to our building permits and fees, as well as earnings on interest due to the steady rates and our return from Horizon on all of our cash that's in water in town. In the general fund, the $50,000 transfer to rainy day is part of the $80,000 that is in that other disbursements line. So that's been accounted for. Council approved that. We're going to discuss another rainy day transfer, which I will get to. And January 24 came out how we thought. The balances stayed healthy. Revenues came in at or slightly higher than we expected, and we kept our spending at or below the budget. And then I'm just going to quickly go through. Most of the funds had positive cash flow. Riverboat and cumulative capital did not, due to paying final bills on the public safety building project. The stormwater also had negative cash flow due to planned capital spending on the STOP 17 and 18 stormwater project. But all 3 of these funds continue to have healthy balances, so that was all planned spending, and they're all in the couple $100,000s, which is great. The capital plan has also been updated and distributed, and right now we are about $25,000 short on the funding, and that will vary greatly based on the road projects and just projects like salt barn, things that we are hoping to and working towards. And as everyone will become aware, if you're newer, that the capital plan is always evolving and changes as we complete items. So we'll keep a close eye and be careful about any change orders. And some of the expenses from last year were pulled into this year. So they were pulled over, but so is the revenue that we thought would have paid for it in last year. That carryover is not greatly affecting the plan. There is currently 30,000 listed for the general fund, and this is a place we would come back to if there is enough in the general fund. Sorry, there isn't enough in the general fund to help support the plan as it is. And then we will watch the fees and interest in the general fund as the year goes on and kind of assess that the revenues are, at least at what we expect them to be. The next meeting is scheduled for March 4th, beginning at 11. We are changing the time from 1 to 11.
Trista joined if you needed anything from her also. So.
I think I'm okay unless you have anything to add, Trista. And does anybody have anything?
Only thing I would add is that the town did receive the expected end of the year riverboat revenue in January. Meg, I don't remember how much, maybe you do, but often that would have been received twice during the year of 24, and the county was late in getting it to us. And so the fund in total is still in a healthy position.
Thanks, Trista. And I guess, do you want me to address the rainy day transfer when we get to it?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Human Resources, Meg?
Human Resources met on January 15th, and the handbook file that the committee worked on in 2024 was distributed to our 2 new members, and we will pick up working through items to finish up the handbook review and hopefully submit it to the labor attorney for review and adoption in the next weeks and months. Things keep popping up that we find that we want to improve upon, but we're getting there. So the next meeting is scheduled for February 19th, beginning at 1:30 p.m. Thanks.
Thank you. Tree Board, Ellen?
Hi. We didn't meet this month, but we'll meet next month, and we've been working on updating the tree ordinance, which was about a year ago that we had passed it. And we 2 sections we changed. Most of you have gotten my several emails until I figured out how to get everything to everybody the right way, but I figured it all out. Anyway, there's only 2 sections that have been really updated, and then we cleaned up the exhibits. We made it look nicer, bigger, easier to read, and alphabetize it, and make it a little more professional. But and then we had to change our exhibit D for the clear vision for streets to 15 feet. So that worked out too. So the biggest change was the fines. I know I had talked about this in an earlier meeting, but the fines I'll just read it to you. A person's found violating any provision or failing to comply with any notice issued pursuant to the provisions of this article will be subject to fines. A fine not less than $750 per tree shall be levied if they cut it down. In addition, the violator shall pay fair market value for replacement of any removed tree that they take down, if done without permission from the Long Beach Tree Board, which I'm sure everyone else is going to be still talking about. It cost of repair, replacement, and appraisal, $1, and getting arborist or any of those other things that we need to do to make sure that they replace it the correct way, and all that will be at their cost if they've gone. This is a step that people are coming in and clear cutting and think because they're taking the trees down on their property that they can take the trees down on the town property, so they have easy access to build whatever they're going to be building. It doesn't happen often, but we really do want to make sure people know that they can't do that. And the previous fines were confusing, and anybody with a lot of money would say, sure, I'll pay that. But anyway, and then the other one was 9910. We talked about that, and all that was as we got into the fact that we will abide by DNR regulations on things that aren't supposed to be cut down, like we had the oak wilt, and we will make a point of notifying anybody that is working, that's on the contract list for taking trees down. We will let them know that we expect them to abide by the DNR rules, even though someone might want them to cut it down, we don't want them to cut it down. So, and if they do, We'll worry about that later. So, that, and I'm hoping, I think all of you've read it.
Yeah, has everybody had a chance to read the tree ordinance? So, can we pass this on first reading?
Yes, because you have to have a public hearing to address the fees and those kinds of things. So you wouldn't be able to pass it on, suspend the rules and pass it tonight.
Okay, so we can pass it on first reading and next month, then we can have a public hearing. Okay, somebody would like to make a motion to pass this on first reading?
I'll make the motion to pass the new tree ordinance on first reading. We'll have to do roll call.
I'll second it.
Okay, do a roll call.
Joe Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Rogers,
Aye.
Kendra Bartlett,
Aye.
Holly Lang,
Aye.
Cindy Lee,
Aye.
Okay, passes on first reading. Okay, thank you. Building Commission does not meet until this Friday at 1 p.m. The BZA has no new business this week, so the February meeting was canceled. APC, Anita?
APC did not meet in February or January, but meets a week from tonight.
Thank you. Building and Revenue Report, Meg?
For January 2025, 10 permits issued totaling $301,388 with revenue of $3,305.30. There were no electric permits issued. Legal expenses paid in January to Brazy Nelson and James were $7,125. Accounting charges paid to Sender and Company were $18.99.92. Lobbyists, the Corridon Group was $6,475. And I would ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Anita.
Roll call vote. Joe Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Rogers,
Yes.
Kendra Bartlett,
Aye.
Holly Lang,
Aye.
Cindy Lee,
Aye.
Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. We have Lakeshore Drive sewer on here, but I don't believe we have anything to discuss.
No, Mr. Wojcik summed it up.
Okay.
Current status.
All right. New business, we moved the AIM info to first on this list.
So, Council, I had sent you this information request, and I believe everyone has hopefully seen the emails from the lobbyist and are somewhat familiar with some of these bills that are downstate. So, I did speak with Trista earlier today, and also with Mark, and Mark might have some information to add. The town can decide to come up with what we want our message to be, because it will kind of be on record. If I submit this form, for example, there's many clerks and/or Mark had said mayors and town leaders that are sending emails. So I have some examples of those. These bills can potentially decrease our property taxes, our levy that we receive. I believe if they went through as they are now, it could be a little bit over 100,000 in 26 and then up to 200,000 by 28, just for Long Beach. I saw on one list, I think the first year it's over 12 million for just LaPorte County. That's our portion. So Trista did mention it's not, our percentage is not as great as some other places, but that would negatively impact some of our planning and items that we hope to address and keep working on for our town. So if you had a chance to look at this, I can respond to it. It's asking about our percentages on where our budget is spent.
Yeah, it looks like page 1 is pretty straightforward with just facts that you probably have.
Mm-hmm.
It does say on here, we should provide all or some of the information.
And I do think they want this, I get it to them. sooner than later if we decide we want to submit this. Again, we can simply do an email, we can, Mark, do you have anything that you wanted to add?
I'd agree, we need to get it back sooner than later because there's some votes that'll be coming up downstate. The governor, obviously, our new governor, this is one of his campaign goals was to do some property tax relief, and he's willing to work with the officials downstate with input from, local towns and cities. Many mayors have gone down from some of the larger cities and have already, voiced their concerns about some of the potential changes that are coming. From what I'm hearing from some of the local politicians that I've had conversations with is that there will be some amendments to the bill that's currently proposed, hopefully reducing some of the impact to communities such as ours. But yeah, I think sooner we can get that down there, the better. So, because I think something will change. Also, what's probably going to happen is what I'm hearing is that a lot of this, if it does go through, then the local officials of LaPorte County will have to look at possibly increasing our local income tax and other ways to bring more revenue in on the local level, the county level, because we're not going to be seeing revenues coming in from the state level. So those are some of the potential changes that could come. We just increased the local income tax on the law enforcement side. Just, 2 years ago, we increased it by 0.5%. That may be something that county officials may have to go back and visit again. You just don't know. So,
Is there any value to Chris Gibson having an eye on any of this or looking at any of it? I know that page 1 seems very straightforward, but is there any value, since he is our lobbyist, in letting him?
I don't think he would have this information personally.
So there wouldn't, it looks like, but I just wanted to be sure that
I think
there's something he thinks we should put in there that.
his last communication to us, Joy, was that he was going to be working, his group would be working with AIM,
Yeah.
which is the request you have before you. So I think once we get this information back and then his group's working with AIM, on the state as a whole, hopefully we'll hear back some more information from him.
Trista, did you have anything to add that you have heard?
I have a lot of information right now from downstate. I did give Meg the example earlier today that for this right now current prediction of just over 100, I think 109,000 would be an estimated loss in 2026. That's a police officer plus a vehicle and some equipment, which for the town of Long Beach is a huge impact. And it's really just figuring out how to balance that communication to your representatives downstate against the fact that you're going to have some residents who would really appreciate some property tax cuts. But as you all know, in Long Beach, you've been trying to do a good job of only seeking the taxes that will provide the best services for your residents without going overboard. There's not a lot of extra fat in the budget. You budget for what you need to spend. And so are there other communities that maybe aren't quite so conservative? Maybe that's what's in the governor's mind. I don't know, but definitely sharing the impact that it will have. And again, you'll just have to decide how you balance that against what some of your residents will be hoping for. And
The final bill doesn't come out until April, so they'll be amending it until then. So it's hard to guess on, what's going to happen. But I think we should fill this out as well as we can.
Okay.
And
Just,
get it back to
I
them.
just done it, but I just wanted to talk it through.
Okay.
Make sure the council would like me to do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We need to select a date for a special council meeting to award the contract for the CCMG 2024 paving project. We'll be opening the bids at a special meeting on February 19th at 10 a.m. And the suggestion for the special meeting to award the contract is Feb 24th, a Monday at 9 a.m. It'll only take a few minutes. I think we have 3 confirmed, Colleen, myself, and Anita, and Kendra, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm a maybe,
Okay,
but yeah.
we've got 3, so we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Meg, can you get that noticed?
Yes, I will take care of that and ask Chris Willoughby.
Okay. Committee and board openings. Joe Jogman has decided to step away from his board assignments, and he will kill me if I recognize him in any way, but I really want to say a huge thank you to Joe. So, in replacing him, he's a member of the building commission. We don't have a replacement for him there yet. He's on the budget and finance, so we now have an opening on budget and finance. And the community center management team, he has been replaced by Jim Nyla. So their new team is Jim Nyla, Doug Wickstrom, and Larry Brown. And Anita Remages is their liaison to the tenants and to the committee.
Center.
What?
Center. Or the community.
I think both works.
Okay, thanks.
We still have a 3-year term on the Advisory Plan Commission open, if anyone is interested. Scott Pop on Public Works has been replaced by Beth White, who is also on the Human Resources, I believe.
Yeah.
And we have an opening on the Fire Commission. Cindy Levy told me that Brian Canier is interested. That would be appointed by 4 members of the Fire Commission, so when we have our next meeting, we'll discuss Brian for that position. And I think that's it. Any comments? Okay, next we'll move on to the Hydro Management Inc. water treatment. I think it's the water treatment for the cooling tower at the community center.
The contract before you is the vendor Hydro Management that we've used now for at least the past 3 years in treating the water for the cooling tower at the Long Beach Community Center. Currently, we were paying $350 per month, and the new contract is $385 per month. It is the recommendation of the Community Center Committee that we renew the contract and continue the services of Hydro Management, which allows us to have the water treated so there is no bacterial growth in any of the HVAC systems at the Community Center. And the updates have been made to the contract at the request of the town attorney to add some additional language under the standard of performance section as well. And Joy has the new updated contract.
I would make a motion to approve.
I would second that motion.
Any discussion? Meg, you want to take a vote?
George Schmidt. I'm sorry.
Aye.
George Schmidt.
Aye.
Anita Remages.
Aye.
Kendra Bartlett.
Aye.
Holly Lane.
Aye.
Cindy Lee.
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. Port security boat grant application, Chief.
I just wanted to take a few minutes to update the council regarding last month's meeting when you approved the $4,000 application to allow us to hire Lexipol to help with the port security grant to secure a new police patrol boat for Lake Michigan. During our discussion last month, some very good suggestions. I had reached out to the city of Michigan City. Both the mayor and police chief Marty Corley have agreed to enter into a intergovernmental agreement where we would share the cost of the boat, and we would continue to be the primary applicant for the federal grant. And Michigan City would be the sponsor, the co-sponsor on this particular grant. Before you tonight, I've put in front of you a rendering of what the boat would look like. Obviously, it would be blue. This is in a fire department red that was sent to us by the vendor this morning. But I just wanted to give everybody kind of a glimpse of what the new boat would look like. It's 29 foot. The grant that we are looking at would pay for 75% of the cost of the boat, and then the other 25% would be split by the communities of Long Beach and Michigan City to include staffing, fuel, maintenance, any associated costs. Our two communities would share those costs, and at some point when successful, hopefully with the grant, Attorney Willoughby, along with the attorneys from Michigan City, would then draft an intergovernmental agreement for the use and maintenance of the boat. So I just kind of wanted to get any questions, any feedback from the council tonight as we continue to have these discussions with Lexipol. Our committee met with the committee from Michigan City last week. They had a very good discussion. They worked out the specs on the boat. The boat will be geared to support a dive team because the City of Michigan City Police Department does have a full-time dive team. So this boat will be able to carry the oxygen tanks for the divers, and the divers will be able to utilize this search and rescue boat as well. And then to dock the boat, I've spoke to the Coast Guard chief along with the Michigan City Port Authority, and both of them are willing to work with us for a 30-foot slip to hold the boat as well. So, any questions? And the grant has not yet opened. President Trump put a hold on some of the federal grants, so we're kind of waiting for some of the federal grants to be released. We're hoping in the month of May, this particular port security grant will be released, and once it is, Lexipol will be ready to begin submitting our application. And I will get the application to the council for review before submitting it as well.
Thank you for following up on this pretty quickly after our last meeting, because I think it, you know, again, it is important, but thank you again for really following through and working with the communities pretty immediately after our meeting where there were questions raised, and again, following through with the grant.
Thank you.
I agree. I think it's great that Michigan City wants to partner with us, and like I said in our last meeting, I really think we need a police presence on the water.
One of the things Lexipol did share is with me is I had reinforced with them that the Coast Guard remains this year only a 40-hour work week. So, and that's 2 weekends a month. So 2 other weekends a month, there will be no Coast Guard presence on Lake Michigan. Our nearest response for us, for both police and fire, we will have to call out the response from St. Joe, Michigan. On a calm day, that boat would be here in 45 minutes. On rough waters, it could be an hour and a half to 2 hours before a boat would be on scene. So this is a very important grant for all of the lakefront communities from Michigan City, Long Beach, Newland Beach, Town of Michiana Shores. So we're going to do our best to make sure that this application has supporting documentation along with our call for service that we pulled last week to be hopeful in securing these funds.
And how old is our smaller boat? What year is?
1999.
And you've been making, I know you've been making repairs as you can, but at some point.
Yeah, last year we spent probably a little over $6,000, and there's additional repairs we probably will need to do this spring as well. In the size of the 19-footer that we have now, just we can't carry the amount of staff that we could carry in this 29-foot. And also, this 29-foot vessel fits the Coast Guard specs, and the Coast Guard has reviewed these and is in agreement. This is a similar boat to their version of the Coast Guard vessel.
Mark, have you approached Newland Beach and Michiana Shores? Are they gonna, if Michigan City and Long Beach is gonna be sort of tasked with patrolling that area too, they should also contribute, in my opinion.
I can speak on Newland Beach's behalf that they probably don't have the monetary means to do so because they're not receiving any tax levies. Michiana Shores, I can approach them at some point because they do receive local income tax, the LIT Public Safety Fund, a similar tax revenue that we receive. But I know Duneland would be able to help us with this. They're struggling on just keeping up on some of the day-to-day stuff there. But I can reach out to Ms. Shanna the closer we get to receiving the grant.
I would say also, maybe still reach out to Doolin if we can, because, I mean, I would assume there's funds available for people that want to chip, you know, like, they might not have stuff in their HOA for it now, but they can easily pass an amendment that says we're increasing everybody's HOA by $20 this month, and there's the money right there.
Sure, I can have a discussion with President Mills.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we don't need to vote on anything here, right?
No, it's just informational purposes. The same thing, the next on your agenda, the intergovernmental agreement. I just wanted to put that on the agenda for discussion tonight. There's no need to even proceed on that agreement until we get closer to finding out if we're successful on the grant. And then at that time, the attorneys will have to begin working on the agreements.
Thank you. Advanced Communications Inc. proposal for town hall video conferencing, audio visual renovations.
So last year, we received a quote from Advanced Communications to do some audio video upgrades to this meeting room. We had passed on that opportunity due to the cost, and also there was an additional quote, and this goes for the public safety building. Since that initial quote, we've leaned on Paul for his expertise to kind of give us some advice to make the necessary changes in this room, because we are often receiving complaints from residents about the quality of our Zoom meetings. As you can see to my left here, we've kind of got a hodgepodge of things going on from the OWL camera system, a speaker that's leaned over that projects the audio into the OWL. We want to make some significant changes in here. So Paul had provided some guidance with that. We spent some time, he reached out to Dylan again at Advanced Communications, and I don't know, Paul, if you want to take a few moments maybe to explain the state-of-the-art improvements that we can make for this room moving forward.
Yeah, the biggest thing is really the audio. I know from listening to these meetings remotely, as Chief said perfectly, right? You're talking to microphones, but these microphones are not being picked up by the Zoom call. They're going into that speaker, which converts it to air, which then goes into the OWL camera, and then back into the laptop to go into the Zoom meeting. So it's just not how it really should be done. The new system will pipe the audio from new microphones directly into the Zoom meeting, so it's going to sound a lot better. The new microphones are also wired microphones. I'm not sure if everyone realizes it, but after you leave, someone has to take all these microphones, go charge them up for the next meeting, and put them all back out so they're all charged up. So the new ones won't have to do that. They'll just be permanently in place, wired into the system. And we have some ideas for the display, to make the display easier to see from the front here, and then also potentially another display in the back so that the audience can see. Your picture of the boat was a perfect example, right? It'd be really nice if you could actually pull that up on a computer and show it to remote people in the meeting and to people here on the display, right? That's a pretty common thing to do now in these types of meetings, to be able to share things. So all in all, it should be, it's going to work exactly the same way, but the quality is going to be much better for people watching remotely.
One of the other caveats is that we would have a connection for Elko, so that Elko could tie into the audio and the video as well, and then it'd be seamless for them, where right now they're having to take our Zoom recordings and then kind of patch it and then post it to Channel 97. We would have a controller that we would be able, a Zoom controller that would kind of control everything as well, a dedicated PC that would work that, and as Paul indicated, that monitor, the plan would be to have it up here for the forward-facing public, and then we would place a new monitor up on that wall there for the console and the audience to see probably at least a 65-inch. That's a 55-inch that's there, so a little bit bigger TV that would be there as well. And then as we discussed earlier, along with that carpeting improvements here, you have a podium request coming up that would replace that podium as well. So we're trying to make a lot of renovations here in this room yet this year.
I just had one thought as well that, as we discussed last week, is that the recordings are now required for 90 days. So we did Zoom starting in COVID times and kept it up because residents, and it helps board members if they're unable to attend in person, but now there's the actual requirement from the state for 90 days, the recordings. We keep them much longer. But
And one thing that will make that even easier is the way it works right now is the chief just kind of joins the Zoom meeting on his laptop, on that laptop that stays in the room. And that's why whenever somebody wants to join the meeting, you hear the dings because people are trying to get into the meeting. What we're going to is an actual Zoom room that's made for conference rooms, so you won't have that ding sound when people are trying to join, but you can still manage the meeting on the laptop. But more importantly, when you schedule these meetings, they can be pre-scheduled, and then when you walk into the room on the little controller, it will list the meetings for that day. And when you want to join the meeting, you just push the button and you're in the Zoom meeting, and that's it. So it should be easy for people to get into the Zoom meetings going in the future.
Thanks for all your help with that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Are these alternate bids?
They are, and Paul and I had discussed earlier today that we would like to go with the alternate for the second monitor. And then cost for the project, there is $15,000 in the capital outlay expenditure plan for this year. And then Clerk Collins and I had discussed looking at the individual departments' budgets and drawing from each department, like maybe 2,000 from parks, 2,000 from building, police, fire. All of us use this room for meetings, so to offset some of the costs out of the general operating budget, we'll look at the various town general operating budget to then pull some of the funds from as well, and or some more capital as need be. So that would be the recommendation on the funding sources.
This is decreased from before, right? So is it just tightening things up? Prices have changed? You've had a better idea of what we need?
Yeah, we kind
So
of
thank you.
reworked things, redesigned things a little bit to bring the price down. And some of the alternates that you saw were not alternates before. So there's the alternate for the second display. But the way this will be initially designed is there'll be a camera in the back here for showing everybody, of course. The other alternate is in the future, if we decide to, we could put a camera over there on the outwall to get a picture of the person presenting so that, you know, from the control panel, then you can switch from the town council view to the presenter view from that direction. But neither one of those need to happen right away, but it seems to make sense to have the display up there so everybody can see the audience.
Thank you for the follow-up.
You bet.
Thank you, Paul. I would make a motion to accept this contract with the alternate second display.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Meg?
Joy Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Remages,
Aye.
Ken Bartlett,
Aye.
Connie Lane,
Aye.
Cindy Lee.
Aye.
Okay. That's exciting news.
Yes.
Public hearing and first reading for ordinance number 2025-01, ordinance amending Title 15, Chapter 151, Section 151.035, permit fees.
Madam President, can I make one correction? It's not a public hearing this evening. That's scheduled for the 19th, so it's just
Okay.
considering on first reading, but you do have Mr. Wall here if there are questions, but it is just for first reading this evening.
Okay. No public hearing, just for first reading. Everybody had a chance to look at it?
Yes.
Someone like to make a motion?
I would make the motion. I would make a motion to pass first reading the ordinance as you described, President Schiff.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
Joy Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Remages,
Aye.
Ken Bartlett,
Aye.
Connie Lane,
Aye.
Cindy Lee.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Resolution 2025-001, transfer from general fund to rainy day fund.
Yes, so when we last spoke, council, at the end of the year, we had spoke many months about a transfer, and council, we made a $50,000 transfer. So the balance in rainy days, a little bit over $100,000 right now. Coming back to the projections, and when you look through the line items, the revenues for mostly the permits and interest, and if you remove the community center roof reimbursement, which with what we have received from insurance, less what we've paid thus far, that's $118,000. So if you remove that from the net cash flow, and this is including already the $50,000 transfer that was done, we have earned or have a positive of $390,000 from the last 2 years. So the rainy day transfer, after confirming with Trista, her informing me that she thought this was, that we should do additional. One reason that we can consider this is that the Michigan City lawsuit, which we don't have an update on currently, but expect to potentially have to pay something in the future. So the funds can be spent the same way, basically in the general and the rainy day. But again, if council wishes, we are comfortable, Tristan and I, with up to $200,000. It doesn't need to be that much, but when you look at the projections with the balance that we have in the general fund, it is, the actual as of January is $945,000. So if we take 200 out of that, our budget for 2025 is $754,000. So we would still be, in line with our expected budget if we stay within our budget. So we can decide something tonight. You guys can push this till the next meeting. Yeah, Tristan, I think you're still on if you have anything to add to, or if council has any questions. We did speak about this at Budget and Finance. The 2 council members that were present, I think, left with a decent understanding of the reasons that we could do this. We don't want it to, that balance really is due to the interest in the permit fees. Yeah, anything to add?
The thing I want to add, and Chris, maybe you can just double check how we have the wording written. The statute allows you to transfer up to 10% of your entire budget. We've identified that we simply will make the transfer itself from the general fund. I just wanted to be clear that we're not focusing only on the budget of the general fund for the unspent portion of available cash in total of the town.
I think, and again, Colleen and I were both at the budget meeting, we're members, and there was quite a lot of discussion about it, so thank you, Trista, and thank you, Meg. And I don't know if we're ready to move forward, but I would certainly approve this resolution and make a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second that. Is there any more discussion? My opinion is I think we should transfer as much as we can to the rainy day fund. Any other discussion?
I agree with you, Judge. With the meeting, I didn't really understand, is it difficult to get money out of the rainy day fund? It's not difficult to put it in. The fund is not difficult to take it out. And I agree, I think we should put as much as we can into that rainy day fund just for safekeeping, for lack of a better term. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Any other comments?
Is there any reason not to put as much as we can in there? Meg, do you see any reason we shouldn't do it?
If somebody looked at it, we want to balance, at least in my opinion, the funds of the town with things that we want to accomplish. So, as Trista might explain, we don't want to just build balances forever. We want to accomplish some good things as well. So, anything to add?
No, I don't think I have anything to add unless anybody has any particular questions.
There was a comment at the Budget and Finance meeting as well, that the rainy day fund has not been funded. Trista, I think you mentioned, or it has not been well funded. So I think this is a great move that we're able to do this, and that, so thank you.
Well, I think, the interest that we earned, 2023 was almost 75,000, and 2024 was 136,000. So, we have this opportunity of that cash that we didn't have in the past as well. So,
all right.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Meg, you want to take a vote?
oh, sorry. Joy Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Rogers,
Aye.
Kendra Bartlett,
Aye.
Kelly Lang,
Aye.
Cindy Vicky.
Aye.
Okay, resolution passes. Seeking approval to purchase a new solid oak lectern for the council meeting room. Chief?
Last week, I shared an email with the council that for the past several months, we've been searching for a solid oak podium for this particular room that would match the front table that we're sitting at tonight. The initial cost of that was $3,652.75. Most recently here, that particular podium has gone on sale for $2,042.75 without a logo, and $2,342.75 if we had the town logo laser engraved in the front of the podium. As you know, this table here has been with the town for many, many years. It's held up well, and therefore we're wanting to get a professional quality podium for this room as well that will be able to hold the new microphone system that you approved tonight, along with any presenter or resident that would come to the podium could place their laptop on there, have a sturdy working surface as well to work from. The one that we have now just isn't, getting the job done. So photos were shared with all of you. Meg and I discussed the funding for this particular request. We do have the funds in the town admin budget for this year. So the funding is not a difficult question to answer. However, I just wanted the opinion of the council before moving forward with this purchase. And then also a decision if you want the town logo etched in the front or not. Any questions?
My opinion is that I think it would be a good purchase, especially since the funding is available and planned for in the budget line.
I would agree. Is that a motion?
Oh,
With or without the logo?
with or without the logo, I'm not sure how we want to take that vote. President Schmidt, how would you like to proceed with that?
The logo is $300 additional to have the logo etched into the actual podium.
Well, we have made good use of this table over the years, so we have saved quite a bit of money on the table and chairs.
I think we should have the logo.
Let's go for the logo. So my motion would be that we would order the lectern, which is currently on sale, and add the town logo etched into the front of the lectern.
I would second that. Any discussion?
I was gonna vote for no logo, but I do want the lectern, so I don't know. I just think it's $300 we have so many logos everywhere, but, because we got it right there. I don't think we really need it, but I might be outvoted, so, but I'm for the lectern, so. It'll be nice to have people that come up with their laptops and stuff, like you said, to be able to spread out in the microphone, so That's just,
Does that mean we have to have 2 votes?
There's a motion and a second.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second. Let's take a vote on that,
With the logo.
with the logo, lectern with the logo.
Joey Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Ramages,
Aye.
Kendra Bartlett,
I'm gonna say no, just because of the logo.
Connie Lane,
Aye.
Cindy Lee.
Okay, motion passes. Claims approval, Meg?
Town checks number 21138 that was voided and numbers 21349 through 21436 totaling $262,345.75. Water checks number 55187 to 55209 totaling $98,706.20. January payroll of $134,858.25. Now I ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, Joey Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Ramages,
Aye.
Kendra Bartlett,
Aye.
Connie Lane,
Aye.
Cindy Lee.
Okay, any council comments? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Meg?
Roll call vote, Joey Schmidt,
Aye.
Anita Ramages,
Aye.
Kendra Bartlett,
Aye.
Connie Lane,
Aye.
Cindy Lee. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.